Hello and welcome to One-on-One Sports on the Web. I'm Rich Ryan and I'm joined by Kristen Binder and Alex Sherron. The NBA season is finally underway, so why not try and make some fearless predictions? Let's start in the Eastern Conference, where it looks like the Celtics, Cavaliers, and Magic will once again battle for the conference crown. Christian, who do you like this season in the Eastern Conference?
Well, out of these three teams, I have to take the Celtics. I really like the addition of Rasheed Wallace to a lineup that already features Rajon Rondo, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, and Theo Ratliff. And Kevin Garnett, too. This team, just top to bottom, is stacked. But I'm also interested to see how the Cavaliers will do with Shaquille O'Neal starting at center instead of Zydrunas Ilgauskas, who can't stay healthy for more than a week. Yeah,
the addition of Shaq is great. Do you think the fact that the Celtics were trying to shop around Rondo, do you think that will affect the team chemistry at all this year?
I think it already has. Rondo has come out and said he's not going to sign an extension with the Celtics. So it brings questions to my mind about this point guard who's supposed to be their future now may just wind up being their present.
And staying on in the Eastern Conference, mentioned Shaquille O'Neal and the Cavaliers. Do you think the Cavaliers can make the hump and get to the championship game?
I do like the addition of Shaquille O'Neal to help LeBron James, but I am just not sold on Shaq right now. Back in Phoenix, I know they played a different style. It was much more fast-paced, but he just couldn't keep up. They rested him between games to let him keep up his energy. The Cavs don't play that fast-paced style that Phoenix always does, but still he is pretty old. And I'm not sure he's still that dominant center that he always has been. I'm actually, I think that the Cavs will do well, but not good enough.
And we're forgetting the Magic in this whole thing. The Magic are definitely one of those top three tiers. Where do they rank among those teams in the Eastern Conference?
Yeah, we are forgetting the Magic. The team that went to the finals last year, they lost Tito Turkoglu, which in my opinion is a huge deal. This guy does everything. He shoots the ball. He plays great defense. They did acquire Vince Carter, but he's just not the same caliber as he was when he was playing for Toronto or even with the Nets when he had his good games. But the Magic are still a solid team. Hey, J.J. Redick, could he force Vince Carter out of that starting lineup? That's all I want to know.
All right, that's putting Vince Carter a little low. That's rating him a little bit less than you should. Yes, Vince isn't that same type of player that Turkoglu is, but I think we have to really see what the Magic become. They still have Petrus to take over for Turkoglu, and Vince Carter is still a great player. But what I'm actually looking forward to in the Eastern Conference is the Atlanta Hawks. They are a team that they have very good players in every single position. I think that we could be looking for a couple upsets in the Eastern Conference playoffs this year with the Hawks.
Hawks definitely a really good team. Al Horford is such a solid player in the front court. He can score the basketball, and he's really good on the boards. Do you have any Eastern Conference sleepers, dark horses, or anything?
Well, I really agree with Alex on this one with the Atlanta Hawks. I think that this is a team that for the last couple years has just been on the upswing. And Mike Bibby, with his leadership, that will help them transition into that phase where they are a contending team. And if there was one team that I would pick to go toe-to-toe with the top three of the Celtics, Cavaliers, and Magic, it would be the Hawks.
All right, we've talked about the Eastern Conference and King James. Now let's shift it to the Western Conference and the kings of the NBA, the LA Lakers, coming off a championship season. Who do you see coming out in the Western Conference and being the front runner in this NBA season?
I have to go with the Lakers. It's a thing that we hear over and over, but I just can't see any other team beating them in the playoffs. People say, well, the Spurs, they had such a great offseason acquiring McDyess. I think, and I look down the lineups, I cannot see the matchups going in the favor of the Spurs. They just don't have the player to guard Kobe other than Finley. But you put Finley in, you have to take someone else out who can score points for you. It's not a great matchup in the Spurs from the Spurs' point of view.
And although Trevor Ariza was a great player down the stretch, Ron Artest brings such a great defensive mentality to that team. And the Lakers playing even better defense in the playoffs is a really scary thing for the Western Conference teams.
Absolutely. Ron Artest brings a new presence that the Lakers haven't had. You said it. Trevor Ariza was their X factor last year. Now he's with Houston. And it was actually an unofficial trade of sorts because Ariza and Artest switched teams. But Artest brings a fire to them too, which at some points they lacked last year. But the thing I'm looking for with the Lakers is how Andrew Bynum and Pau Gasol play. We all know that Pau Gasol is a very, very good center, but Andrew Bynum is a young center. He just hasn't been able to keep himself healthy. But this year, he's been working on his core strength instead of his upper body. So we'll see if perhaps stronger legs will keep him in the game. And if you can have Derek Fisher, Kobe Bryant, Lamar Odom, and Ron Artest switching in with Pau Gasol or Andrew Bynum, that's just an almost unbeatable top 5.
And Lamar Odom, one of the most unguardable people in the NBA. He's so tall that you can't put a 3 on him, and he's so quick, a 4 really can't guard him. So once Lamar Odom's playing hard, he's really difficult to guard. We've talked about the Lakers, all right. Is there anybody that can dethrone them in the West? Spurs, Nuggets, anybody?
The team that I can see beating them the most is the Trailblazers. The only problem is I don't see the Trailblazers beating the Spurs to get to the Western Conference Finals to play them. If they do happen to get there, Greg Oden, I think, actually will come out with his game this year. Brandon Roy, they've got a great team all around, but I'd still have to go with the Lakers even in that matchup.
LaMarcus Aldridge inking a big contract. The Trailblazers on the up and up. Is this the year they finally get over the hump?
I don't see it happening this year. Alex, you touched on it earlier. I really like what the Spurs have done. They drafted DeJuan Blair out of Pittsburgh. They signed Richard Jefferson, and they signed Antonio McDyess. That's just a solid team to me. Tony Parker, as always, will be himself and just create plays. Tim Duncan is still good. You got to wonder about Manu Ginobili's health. I mean, he was their X factor for a long time, but now he's starting to phase out. I really like the Spurs. I do like the Trailblazers, but I kind of wonder if they're going to be able to keep up with the Nuggets, who were last year's surprise team. Chauncey Billups is a huge difference. So I think that the Nuggets are probably 3rd, with the Blazers being 4th. I still think this conference belongs to the Lakers, though.
All right, really quick. Finals predictions. Who you got?
I'm going to go with Lakers-Celtics.
I'm going to go with Lakers, but over the Hawks.
All right, well, looks like LA will make a return trip to the NBA Finals, but unfortunately, that's all the time we have. But thanks for checking out One-on-One Sports on the web. Make sure to check out all of our webcasts from this week. For Christian Binder and Alex Sherron, I'm Rich Ryan. Thanks for watching, and until next time, whose side are you on?